Today's modern internal combustion engine is designed to run at peak performance. Engine metals are pushed to their maximum. There is no reserve for an emergency. Statistics show that the most common reasons for mechanical breakdowns are lack of lubrication and loss of engine coolant. These problems are costly to repair and can leave you stranded and your vehicle undrivable. Bi-tron, a radically new 100% petroleum-based formula which fuses polarized oil molecules to metal surfaces with positively charged ions. When these molecules contact metal, they provide constant lubrication in even the most severe conditions. 95% of engine wear occurs when we start our engine. And in the event you lose all the coolant or lubricating oil while driving, your engine will create so much friction that metal parts actually fuse and weld together. Both high-performance race car engines and family cars need the protection of Bi-tron. Engines run cleaner, more efficiently, and last longer. With Bi-tron in the engine, air pollutants are dramatically reduced. Engine parts are kept clean and operate as designed. Bi-tron's advanced molecular engineering has created a totally new generation of lubricants that are outstanding and effective at extreme temperatures. Bi-tron provides high-quality oil products for diesel engines, gasoline engines, two-cycle engines, gasoline additives, penetrating lubricants for a wide range of uses. The famous Russian Oil and Gas Research Institute in Moscow, the Auto Transportation Research Institute, and the Technological Research Institute for Maintenance and Exploitation of Machinery and Tractors have all confirmed the benefits of Bi-tron. Several tests were conducted on this engine just to show how tough Bi-tron really is. After letting this engine run for about half an hour, Bi-tron engine formula was poured into the crankcase. Then the unbelievable was done. All of the oil and coolant were drained out and the oil pan removed. With no oil and no coolant, the engine was started again and continued to run normally. Here's a typical example of how well Bi-tron engine formulation works.
What other oil additives have you used?
We've used Slick 50, T+, System 48, Duralube, Microlon. None of them would give us any of the improved performances that we needed. This is one of the problems here. This engine's been treated with Slick 50. As you can see, this, what looks to be metal buildup, is actually the hard deposit that's left over from the additive. Now look at these filters. See that gooey glob? All that's PTFE, resin separation. Here's another piston. As you can see, the compression ring has broken loose, and the reason for that was that the carbon buildup and the additive itself has wedged itself in between the rings, causing them to get stuck in there. In the front of it, you'll see nothing but carbon buildup and the additive itself.
Unlike other products which add Teflon or other solids to their oils, Bi-tron is 100% petroleum. There is nothing in it to clog up engine parts or reduce performance power. In fact, Bi-tron will actually clean and polish engine parts, loosen gummed-up piston rings, and improve performance. One of the most severe test procedures that can be done to test the lubricating power of an oil is with the cross-axis machine. This machine is standard equipment for lubrication manufacturers to test their products. With this test instrument, extreme pressure can be exerted on two metal surfaces while an oil bath attempts to protect the bearing surfaces. The ammeter will show how much friction is generated by measuring the amount of electricity used by the electric drive motor. Between each test, the race bearing will be carefully cleaned and polished, so each lubricant has the same opportunity to demonstrate its lubricating ability. A new test bearing will be used for each test. These bearings have the same metallic strength as the steel in piston rings, bearings, and other metal engine parts. The first product is a very popular engine oil. In just a few seconds, the oil breaks down and the bearing seizes. The motor is physically stopped. Watch the amp meter as the motor pulls more and more electricity to counteract the friction and heat. And the test bearing is severely damaged. After cleaning the machine, a second popular engine oil is tested. Synthetic oils are considered one of the best engine lubricants on the market today. Very quickly, the synthetic oil breaks down and leaves the metal bearing unprotected. Again, the failure of the lubricant creates so much friction that the electric drive motor is stopped. Again, the test bearing is severely damaged. Now Bi-tron is tested. The test conditions are the same. We will dilute Bi-tron with a typical motor oil as it would be in an automobile engine. There's no noise, no smoke, and the drive motor pulls very little additional amperage. Even when the technician puts full force on the torque wrench and holds it down for as long as he can, Bi-tron continues to work. Look at the test bearing. There is virtually no wear. In a more recent test, one oil additive widely promoted on TV infomercials was tested. As with all other tests, the race bearing has been cleaned and a new test bearing installed. The additive is poured into the sump. As you can see, it fails almost instantly. Now let's try the same test with Bi-tron. But let's make this test really hard. We'll pour water into the sump with Bi-tron. Even with water added, Bi-tron continues to lubricate, and look at the amp meter. To make this test even more difficult, dirt will be added to the Bi-tron. Picture what would happen to your engine if water and dirt got into its oil. The oil would fail and the engine would be severely damaged. But with Bi-tron protecting the metal surfaces, there is no noise, heat, or additional load placed on the drive motor. Just look at the amp meter. It is well within the normal range. Bi-tron keeps protecting. Now the supply of lubricant is removed. Yet even with the shock test, it continues to perform. Bi-tron keeps protecting. Compare the two test bearings. There's practically no damage to the Bi-tron bearing, even with dirt and water added and the lubricant bath removed.
Time after time and test after test, the products work.